Well, good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to Retired for Life. We got some snow. There's not a huge amount. Boy, it's really blowing out here. Holy mackerel. Whoa. Let's get in the shop. Well, that's unpleasant. So I think that's going to have me rethink things a little bit. That's really blowing. All right, guys, here we are again. And still, no snow blowing has been done. But there really isn't that much snow here at all. There's a little bit at the end of the driveway. So we're going to go ahead and actually finally do the test with the snowblower and see what it does. All right, we're ready to give this a try. Now I do have to have the engine revved up fairly high according to the manual for anything that runs off of the PTO. So that's why you'll hear the engine up there pretty good. So as soon as I start out, I want to scrape away what's here right off the bat. So we'll start right away. As soon as we come out here, I'll engage and we'll see what happens. I thought that was a rock, but it's just a hunk of ice. Well, so far so good. You can see the path we took there. And like I said, there isn't much here. Problem with the chute pointing up so high is it does really throw it a long way away, but it also throws it back in your face. So we'll try it quite a bit lower. Well, it's really not much of a test for the system, but, you know, it does obviously work. It throws the snow, throws it quite a distance, especially when it's up all the way. So I just need to find the balance between distance and it throwing it up in my face. So I'll do a few more runs here just to fool around with it, clean out this end of the driveway, and then we'll call that it. It looks like a successful test for as simple of a test as it is for this big machine. But it's something, it's a start. We're kind of getting a feel for it, and that's pretty important. And in these conditions, it's pretty safe to get a feel for it like this. I'm not challenging the machine or anything like that, and I'm just learning how it works. And then as soon as I'm done here, we will move on to the next project. So I've got a little more Christmas decoration stuff to do. I've got the satellites for the observatory and the satellites for the shop to put up. And I'll try to get them up today. And then we're going to be pretty close to being ready to actually go into starting inside work. Although I do have a fun little project I want to work on in the shop later on. I want to build a nice little mailbox for our entrance down at the end of the driveway there. I'm not very happy with the piece of junk mailboxes I seem to find in the stores, so I'll try to make one just for the fun of it. All right, I'll get this finished up and then we will move on from here. All right, so we were off in Kingston the other day. My friends are here squawking away at me, so I'm going to put a little something out for them, and then I'll show you what we got set up yesterday, or picked up yesterday. It's like a bunch of trained dogs now. Come on, guys. Let's go. All right, we'll get these guys fed. So that'll keep them happy. You got to put a little bit of seed up in the big feeder. So we'll leave these guys for their breakfast. Now, it has been getting milder and milder out here. So that little bit of snow that I played around with the snowblower the other day is pretty much gone. It's going to be 7 degrees today. So that's going to take care of a lot of it. So while we were in town the other day, I picked up a new tool for the shop. So I'm going to get that unloaded, and we'll have a look at that a little later on. First things first, I've got to do a little bit of repair to the tractor. As I mentioned in an earlier video, I've got 2 of the boots that are on the steering mechanism for the tractor are torn. Now, I was extremely disappointed to find out that I can't get those boots from the dealership. But I did find an aftermarket dealer of boots that are slightly different than the ones that are on there, but supposedly work really well. I did find an aftermarket dealership on eBay for them. I'll put up a link to those. So I've got those here. And I also have the new projector here too that showed up. So that's the new multi-purpose projector. There's about a dozen wheels that go into this for different types of occasions, birthdays, New Year's, Halloween, a number of different things. So we'll test this out tonight. Okay, we're in position. So I used the bucket to pick up the front end of the tractor, and I've got my jack stands underneath the front axle. You got to be real careful where you put them so you don't catch anything that you don't want weight sitting on. So I've now got the front off of the ground. I've got it blocked under the tire, and I put the snowblower down so it can't go anywhere. So we'll get to work on replacing these boots. So these are the boots that I'm talking about. Now both of them are ripped. Now, apparently these boots are notorious for causing all kinds of issues where the boots crack and whatnot, and they have to be replaced. Now this is not the same material that I've seen in other videos with people who have had issues with these boots where the rubber all cracks and it starts to just come apart. So I would think that this is probably an upgrade from what was on them before. But when you drive it through the bush, through all sorts of trees and branches and stuff, the improved material isn't going to help that much. It just tore them up. So what I'm going to do is count the number of threads that are exposed here, disconnect this ball joint here, and then take this boot off and put the new one on. So it should be a pretty straightforward process. And there are videos that do show this going on. So instead of you guys watching me do this, I'll just put a link to one of the videos so you can see how other people are doing it. Now the one thing I did notice was people aren't putting the thing up on jack stands like this. They'll put it up on the front end loader and work on it like that. Now I do not think that that's a good idea. Now I am not a how-to channel. I am just this is what I did channel, and maybe it works and maybe it doesn't. But I do like to be as safe as I can. So we'll count the number of threads in here, take this apart, and get these new boots in place. Alright guys, we got the new boots on. There's one of the old ones. Now this is clearly not a manufacturing issue. This is a driver issue. But new one's on, so we'll take this down off the jack stands, get it put away, and then we'll go on to this little assembly project of the new tool I got for the shop. So the tractor is all done. That pretty much takes care of anything of any size that I really need to worry about for doing in the shop. So the next thing I want to do is get this brand new bandsaw set up. Now I did have one that's considerably smaller than this, a Mastercraft one. It was quite old and it really didn't last very long. I did do some makeshift repair on it and it was just too junky. So it's gone. This one I did quite a bit of research on, and this looks like it's really quite a good quality little hobby shop saw for the price. So I'm very pleased with that. So we'll put the stand together and then get this saw set up on the stand. Well, there's our stand together. Let's unbox this thing. More styrofoam. So that is a cast iron table that comes on this machine. I really like that. Nicely organized little package of the bolts and things for it. Let me tell you, for a small bandsaw, this thing's really heavy. Well, let's very carefully get this up on the stand. Oh, the turkeys are chasing me again. All right, we'll get this tightened down in place and then we'll have a little closer look at what else I need to do for the assembly. It looks pretty good. Well, there we are, guys. It's all set up and ready to go. It's a nice little saw. I just have to figure out things with blade tension and that kind of thing. But besides that, everything looks good. It is not a straightforward setup. It's similar to setting up the sawmill, actually. You've got to make sure the blade is tracking true and that type of thing. And there are adjustments with the bearings that hold the blade at the back, so the blade can't push back and hold it on either side to keep the blade running straight. And there's adjustments to make to the table to make sure it's all nice and level and that type of thing. But it looks good. I'm very pleased with it so far. So the next thing on the agenda is to actually set this shop up like a small wood shop, because as I say, I'm done all the bigger things I was fooling around with. So I want to get the table saw out where I can use it regularly, have this saw out where I can use it, and things spread out a little better so that I can get to stuff without having to move one other piece of equipment to get to the piece of equipment I want to get to. So that'll take a little bit of planning, a little bit of working out. This won't need a lot of room because it's not like you're doing anything huge on it. It's the table saw that really takes up the major part of the shop. So it's going to have to sit in the center here somewhere. So that'll be the next thing to figure out. But so far, so good. Well, here's a quick update for you. As you recall, I was doing battle with red squirrels. This far corner one up here, right where the pink insulation is they've already chewed through it and they're back into the house. It's driving me a bit crazy. But that means I do need to do something a little more permanent. So we'll get that figured out and get that on the next video. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you out on the trails the next time.